Guys, magandang araw po sa atin lahat, and especially to Dr. Villanueva. Ako nga po pala si Aristeo Pistejo at magre-report po ako ng isang article mula sa Business Law, Obligations and Contracts. Article 1182 states that when the fulfillment of the condition depends upon the sole will of the debtor, the conditional obligation shall be void. If it depends upon chance or upon the will of a third person, the obligation shall take effect in conformity with the provision of this code. So, sinasabi po dito na kung ang katuparan ng isang kondisyon ay nakasalalay lamang sa kalooban ng isang tao o sa debtor po lamang, ito po ay walang bisa. At kung ito naman po ay nakasalalay sa isang pagkakataon o sa isang third person, ito po ay magkakabisa alinsunod sa provision ng code na ito. Classification of conditions. Conditions may be classified as follows. So, marami pong condition at ito po ay isa-isahin natin at magbibigay po ako ng mga brief examples and explanation. Kasi po ito naman po hihimayin at pag-aaralan sa mga susunod na article. Number 1 is as to effect. Suspensive and resolutory. Suspensive is the happening which gives rise to the obligations, and resolutory is the happening which extinguishes the obligation. Kumbaga sa suspensive po, ito po yung naka-suspend or nakahang or yung term ay hindi pa sigurado. At ito po ay nakadepende sa isang pangyayari kung saan, kung mangyayari ito, matutuloy yung agreement, at kung hindi naman ito mangyayari, itong condition na to ay hindi na po matutuloy. Example po dito yung kung ibinebenta ko yung bahay ko kay B at kailangan ko pang maghanap ng lilipatan ko sa loob ng 30 days, kung saan isinad ko po ito sa aming sale agreement, na kung makakahanap ako ng lilipatan sa loob ng 30 days, ay matutuloy yung aming bentahan ni B. Ngunit kung hindi po ako makakahanap ng aking lilipatan, ay mawawala na pong bisa yung aming agreement at hindi na po matutuloy yung aming bentahan. Number 2 is as to form, express and implied. Express is the condition is clearly stated, and sa implied is the condition is merely inferred. Doon po sa express is yung contract po ay nakasaad na malinaw kung ano yung gagawin, kung kailan dapat matapos, kung magkano yung ibabayad, at kung ano pang agreement na dapat nakasaad sa agreement. Ito po ay maaaring verbally or in a written contract. Samantalang sa implied naman po, ito yung isang term na alam nating na nangyayari na. Example po dito yung pag nagpagupit tayo. Bago tayo magpagupit, wala po tayong pinipirmahan na kontrata, ngunit after po tayong gupitan ay alam po natin na tayo po ay magbabayad. Gaya din po ng pag tayo ay kumain sa isang restaurant. Si waiter po, bago tayo umorder, wala po siyang iniligay na kontrata, wala tayong pinirmahan. Ngunit alam po natin na pagkatapos natin kumain ay tayo po ay magbabayad. Classification number 3 is as to possibility. Possible and impossible. Sa possible po is the condition is capable of fulfillment and legally and physically. Sa impossible is the condition is not capable of fulfillment legally or physically. So may example po ako sa impossible. Sa physically, to make a dead man live. So dito po, physically hindi po ito pwede and impossible to fulfill, because hindi naman po natin kayang buhayin ang isang taong patay na. So dito naman po sa legally, example ko po dito is X will give Y 1,000 if Y will kill C. So dito po, ito po ay against the law. So kaya po ito ay not capable of fulfillment. So sinasabi po sa impossible na anything na contrary sa law, morals, good custom, public order, and public policy, ito po ay impossible or not capable of fulfillment. This is classification number 4, as to cause or origin. Potestative, casual, and mixed. So, ito po ay mamaya ko po explain later on of this article. So, proceed po muna tayo sa classification number 5 as to mood. Meron po itong positive and negative. The condition consists in the performance of an act. Yun po yung positive. While the negative is the condition consists in the omission of an act. So, dun po sa negative, yung meron po yung omission or kalugihan. Example ko po sa positive is, I have a children. So, that is a positive condition. So, if I don't have a children, that's a negative condition. So, classification number 6 is as to numbers. Conjunctive and disjunctive. Conjunctive is there are several conditions and all must be fulfilled. So, disjunctive is there are several conditions and only one or some of them must be fulfilled. So, dun po sa conjunctive, maraming condition at dapat tuparin lahat. Dito naman po sa disjunctive, maraming kondisyon ngunit isa lamang o ilan lamang ang dapat tuparin. So, classification number 7, the last classification. As to divisibility, meron po itong divisible and indivisible. Sa divisible is, the condition is susceptible of partial performance, while the indivisible is, the condition is not susceptible of partial performance. So, sinasabi po na ito daw po ay malimit na ginagamit sa mga construction contract. So, example ko po dito is yung when you are going to contract on a road construction. So, example po, nahati sa tatlo yung road, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Kunwari po na tapos na ni contractor si phase 1, ngunit nagka-problema siya sa phase 2. Kung ano man po yung problema niya sa phase 2, hindi po siya makaka-apekto sa phase 1. And ganun din po sa phase 3, kailangan to pa rin ni contractor, gawin pa rin niya yung pag-build dun sa phase 3, kahit pa po may nakabingbi na problema sa phase 2. So, ganun po yan. And contrary naman po yung sa indivisible, kung saan dapat matapos at makompleto yung kontrata, cannot be divided po yung indivisible. So, dito na po tayo sa potestative condition. A condition suspensive in nature and which depends upon the sole will of one of the contracting parties is known as potestative condition. So, kung yun po kung ang condition po ay nakasalalay lamang sa isang party o na minamanipula lamang o pumapabor lamang sa isang party, ang tawag po dun ay potestative condition. Where the suspensive condition depends upon will of debtor. Number 1, conditional obligation void. Where the potestative condition depends solely upon the will of the debtor, the conditional obligation shall be void, because its validity and compliance is left to the will of the debtor, and it cannot, therefore, be easily demanded. In order not to be liable, the debtors not just fulfill the condition. There is no burden on the debtor, and consequently, no juridical tie is created. So, sinasabi po dito na kung ang isang kondisyon ay nakasalalay lamang o nasa kalooban lamang ni debtor, ang kondisyon po na ito ay void o walang bisa. Siyempre po, hindi naman po pwede sabihin natin na halimbawa po ay magbabayad ako kapag gusto ko. O kaya naman po ay magbabayad ako kapag nakuha ko na yung loan ko sa bank. O kaya ay magbabayad ako kapag nagbayad si X. Or magbabayad ako kapag nakapag-harvest ako ng isda. Or magre-renta ako sa property mo hanggat gusto ko o kailangan ko. Hindi po yun pwede at wala po yung visa. Ito po ay meron na pong mga historical record sa Supreme Court or ang tawag po dito ay jurisprudence, na kung saan ay sinasabi o inaano na rin po na ito isang batas o basehan sa mga susunod na kaso. Where suspensive condition depends upon will of creditor. Suspensive condition depends upon will of creditor. If the condition depends exclusively upon the will of the creditor, the obligation is valid. So, opposite po ito nung kanina, kung ang condition ay depends upon will of debtor, ay not valid. If ito naman pong depends upon will of creditor, ito po ay kinikilala ng batas. Example po, I will pay you my indebtedness upon your demand. So, kung ang nagdi-demand po is si creditor, ito pong ganitong mga condition ay kinikilala po ito ng batas. Only the condition void if the obligation is a pre-existing one and therefore does not depend for its existence upon the fulfillment by the debtor of the potestative condition. Only the condition is void, leaving unaffected the obligation itself. Here, the condition is imposed not on the birth of the obligation, but on its fulfillment. So, sinasabi po dito na mawawalang bisa yung kondisyon, ngunit yung obligation po ay mananatili. Example po, D borrowed 10,000 from C payable within 2 months. Subsequently, D promised to pay C after D sells his car, to which C agreed. In this case, only the condition is void but not the pre-existing obligation to C. So yun nga po, kahit na hindi mabenta ni D yung kotse niya, mabenta man yan o hindi, mananatili po yung obligation niya na magbayad. Na kung saan niya naman po ibinigay niyang condition ay hindi po yun kinikilala ng batas. So, where resolutory condition depends upon will of debtor. If the condition is resolutory in nature, like the right to repurchase in a sale with pacto de retro, the obligation is such valid although its fulfillment depends upon the sole will of the debtor. The fulfillment of the condition merely causes the extinguishment or loss of rights already acquired. The debtor is naturally interested in its fulfillment. The position of the debtor when in the condition is the resolutory is exactly the same as that of the creditor when the condition is suspensive. So, sinasabi po dito na kung ang condition is resolutory in nature, gaya po ng pacto de retro. Pacto de retro is yung pagbebenta ng isang property kung saan nakasaad doon na maaaring bilhin muli sa kanya nung nagbenta until such time. Example po is after 5 years, nakasaad sa kontrata nila na pwedeng uling bilihin nung nagbenta yung property. Yun po yung pacto de retro, na kung saan po yung ganitong condition is valid. Although yung fulfillment po nun ay nakadepende pa rin sa kagustuhan ni debtor. Casual condition. If the suspensive condition depends upon chance or upon the will of the third person, the obligation such subject is valid. So, sinasabi po dito yung casual condition is depends upon chance or alinman po sa upon the will of the third person. So, alinman sa dalawa, upon chance or upon the will of the third person, ayun po ay casual condition. Example po, where X building contractor obliges himself in favor of Y owner to repair at X expense any damage that may be caused to the building by any earthquake occurring within 10 years from the date of the completion of its construction. So, sinasabi dito sa example po na si X, isang contractor, ay nakipag-agree kay Y sa may-ari ng building. Nasagot niya yung damage na maaaring dulot ng isang lindol sa loob ng 10 taon. Simula nang ito'y naitayo. sinasabi po doon na itong condition na ito ay, o itong agreement na ito po ay valid. Gaya din po nitong pangalawang example, whereas binds himself to sell his land to B if he wins a case which is pending before the Supreme Court. So, suspensive condition. Kung manalo sa kaso yung CS, kung saan yung lupa niya na binibenta ay nakabinbin pa sa korte, at kung halimbawa manalo siya, matutuloy yung benta niya, pagbebenta niya kay B. Ito mo ganitong condition ay valid po ito. Mixed condition. The obligation is valid if the suspensive condition depends partly upon chance or partly upon the will of the third person. So, mix. Halo yung magkahalo. Magkasama sa isang condition depends partly upon chance, yung isang pagkakataon, saka si third person. Example, where X building a contractor obliges himself in a favor of Y, the owner, to repair at X expense any damage to the building taking place after an earthquake if found by a panel of arbitrators that construction defects have contributed in any way to the damage. Both conditions must take place in order to X obligation will arise. The decision of the panel third party must be accepted by X and Y as final unless it can be shown that it was incompetent to act in that capacity or was obviously biased favoring Y or X. So, sinasabi po dito na gaya dito sinabi po sa example na si X, isang building contractor, ay nakipagkontrata kay Y na may-ari ng bahay na i-repair niya yung mga damage na dulot ng lindol na ang gastos ay sagot ni X. Ngunit dapat ito ay nakadepende sa report ni arbitrator na isang third party, na dapat mapatunayan ng arbitrator na yung damage ay dulot ng lindol. So, dapat ito pong magiging findings ni arbitrator, ni third person, ay kilalanin ni X and Y. So, maliban na lamang po kung na mapatunayan ni X and Y na si arbitrator ay isang incompetent or hindi, pagpalagay po natin na hindi siya isang legal na arbitrator, maaari po nilang hindi tanggapin yung findings. At kung mapatunayan din po na bias si arbitrator, bias siya kay X or kay Y, yun po lamang ang dahilan para hindi nila tanggapin yung findings ni arbitrators. So, yun po, upon chance, kung magkakalindol po lamang, pag nagkalindol, doon mag-a-arise yung obligation ni X and papasok si third person. Where suspensive condition depends partly upon will debtor. According to Manresa, the use of word exclusive now sold makes it clear that conditional obligation whose fulfillment depends partly upon the will of the debtor and partly upon the will of the third person upon chance perfectly valid. So, ito po sitwasyon na to ay meron na po itong record o jurisprudence sa Korte Suprema kung saan sinabi na ito po ay perfectly valid. Yung kombinasyon po ni partly upon by third person and partly upon by will of debtor. Dito po sa sitwasyon na to ay sinabi na ito ay valid. However po, that if the compliance with the obligation still depends upon the part of the condition whose fulfillment depends upon the will of debtor, the obligation is void as it is within his power to comply or not to comply with the same. The situation is the same if the condition depends entirely upon of the debtor. Sinasabi po dito, contrary po dun sa unang example, Ang pagsunod po ng obligasyon ay nakasalalay sa bahagi o ng kondisyon na ang katuparan ay nakasalalay